Hello again, North Newton Bulldogs. We're going to look at in this segment our teacher handbook, and I'm not going to go over it word for word. Just like last year, we're just going to hit the highlights and some changes that we may have made from last year. But do want to definitely go through this and hit highlights, and like with the other presentations, this document will be to the right of this video. So again, like with the scheduled video, again, our faculty and staff are listed here, and I do hope that I've gotten everybody listed here and having changes made. And duties of the teacher come next. And again, I'm not going to go through that, but that's the state law, state statutes that spell out what the duties of the teacher is. Next thing we're going to come to are some guidelines and pieces of information, and the highlighted parts are going to be the parts that I spend a little bit of time on. And this first piece, obviously, you guys will have a designated area like you normally have as far as where you're going to sit in the cafeteria. Part of our responsibility as far as the students go and teaching them to be responsible, one of our Bulldog expectations, one of our Bark expectations, is teaching them responsibility, and part of that is going to be to make sure that they are able to check their tables and have them clean up around themselves, just to make sure, again, especially classes that come in earlier, so that the cafeteria is not trashed when the last several classes come in. And again, it's just a responsibility thing as well. Next, we do get money for conserving energy. Robin's group comes in about 4 times a year, and they go through the classes and make sure that, especially over holidays, that, you know, printers are off, lights are off, things of that nature, and they do have a checklist to go by, and you know, as long as we don't have too many violations, we do end up getting money at the end of the year for conserving energy. So please make sure that your lights are turned off, especially whenever you leave the class, and that you just conserve as much energy within that classroom as possible. I will say that our power bill did increase this past year from the previous year, and we're looking into reasons why that may be. We do have a couple of ideas, but anything you guys can do within the classroom would be greatly appreciated. Getting into cumulative records, it is your responsibility, teachers, to make sure that you know what's in your students' cumulative records. Whether it's, you know, court documents stating issues with parental rights or anything like that, it's your responsibility to know that stuff. So please make sure, and this is a requirement, guys, that you do check out your students' cumulative records at the very beginning of the year and review that information. And again, with testing information and possibly previous PDPs, it's a great source of information for you guys as you begin to plan for each individual student's needs. PBIS documentation, that will be turned in to the PBIS team at the end of each quarter, and there will be a email or something sent out, probably from Miss Smith, asking for this information. You can see what the discipline referral process there is, and guys, this is a biggie, and you know, for specific things like a fight or something like that, then obviously by all means send that student to the office. But if it's just a repetitive behavior, negative behavior that has gone on, and you're wanting to send them to the office, I don't have a problem with that, just as long as you've made a parent contact first. That's very important that we keep our parents involved with their child's education, behavior within the class and within the school environment. This has changed from last year, and here in just a few minutes I'll be discussing what our new grading scale is, but because we're changing our grading scale, that's going to have an effect on our Bark cards as well as our honor rolls. So our honor rolls will have a principal's honor roll and just a regular honor roll. And this would be like our old A honor roll and AB honor roll. So for the principal's honor roll, those students will have earned all 4s and 5s in all subject areas. And then for the honor roll, which would have been similar to the old AB honor roll, these students would have 3s, 4s, and 5s in all subject areas. Perfect attendance will be continued to be given. However, there will not be a citizenship award given to students this year because instead of citizenship, we're looking at work habits, and there's 6 pieces that go into those work habits that we'll look at later. And again, we'll have an awards assembly to recognize those students for those achievements. Our BART card criteria has changed as well, and you'll notice it's going to mirror as far as the grades aspect of it, it's going to mirror the principal's honor roll and honor roll very closely. For the gold card, you'll notice 4s and 5s there for all grades, and for silver card, it's all 3s, 4s, and 5s. You notice there with behavior, you've got an E on all 6 of the work habits for a gold card, and then at least 4 out of 6 of the work habits having an E with the silver card. And Ms. Miller will be going over the criteria to earn the EM or NY for those work habit pieces. Again, just like in the past, no office or bus referrals, and they must have an M in their special areas. Again, the absences and tardies have not changed. We did go ahead as a PBIS team, though, and come up with specific awards that we're going to provide those students. I feel like and this is, I'll take responsibility for this. We kind of dropped the ball on this last year, but now that we've got kind of some specific things, it will help us out a lot. So for our second quarter awards, they'll be provided with snacks and time on the playground. Third quarter awards will have a movie and popcorn. Fourth quarter, we'll do a hot dog cookout, kind of like what I've done in the past. And then under gold card, you can see all the awards that they'll be entitled to. And you'll notice for silver, there's not as many, and we want those silver card holders to really work hard to gain gold card status. So that's the reason that there's fewer there for the silver card, because the gold card should be a higher honor because those students have worked harder, or not necessarily harder, but have achieved higher progress, especially in their academics. Again, money's got to be turned into Monica by 9 a.m., guys, and this has to happen every single day that you collect money. And Monica needs it that early so that she can get the deposit ready to turn into the bank. Reimbursements, this is a new piece that we've added that was not in here. And guys, what I'm asking for is that any time that you're purchasing anything for your classroom or the school, that you just make sure that you run it by me first to make sure that funding is available to reimburse you for those purchases. If I've not been notified prior to your purchase, you may not be reimbursed for that purchase. So again, just make sure you see me first. All the time in the front office, Gina and Monica get calls from parents saying that someone from the school has called them, but they've not left a message, or they were unable to leave a message. If you contact a parent or anybody from the school line, please make sure that you let those ladies know if you've not been able to reach that person, in case if they call back, we'll know where to direct that call. This next one may be adjusted some. It's talking about taking your cell phones with you out for recess. We are looking at purchasing some walkie-talkies, so we may be making adjustments to this. PEPs are no longer a state requirement. However, and that's what it's talking about here, it's no longer a state requirement. However, our district is continuing with the use of PEP, so you will need to continue doing that for the students that fall within that criteria. Supervision's huge, guys. Our discipline really decreased this past year, and I attributed a lot of that to you guys as a staff supervising our students very closely. Again, anytime you leave the building, just please make sure you let myself know, and if you're unable to get me, please make sure that you see Ms. Hager or one of the office staff. Make sure that you read your newsletter weekly. You never know when I might pop a free Gene Week in there for you, or a free Gene Day, and if you've not read the newsletter, you're not going to be aware that that's in there. Plus, there's important information in there, guys. I'm not going to just waste your time putting a lot of stuff in there that's meaningless. I do try to make sure that I'm very short and to the point with the newsletter, so that the key points that you need to do or need to have information on, that you do have that. Again, make sure you lock your doors and windows every day before you leave. If you've got duty, you need to be here by 7:20 in the morning. Wednesdays, every Wednesday should be reserved for meetings. And there may be time that I call meetings off, but please make sure that every Wednesday you've allowed yourself to be available for teacher meetings. If you're going to be absent, please make sure that you call me and send me an email as well. This one on personal leave days, please make sure that you come back and look at this. That has to be made to me at least 5 school days in advance. And a lot of you don't use your personal leave days, but when you do, please refer back to this. And it has to be at least 5 days in advance, and it cannot be on the day prior to a holiday or the day after a holiday. Attendance must be completed by 8:30. I'm asking Miss Stiers this year that to let me know if anyone does not stick to this timetable. This is very important for us to get everything done with attendance that we need to get done. Report cards, and here's the new grading scale, guys, and this is for all the academic areas. There's 5 levels, which will mirror the state EOG scores very closely. A grade of 1 means that no progress has been made towards that standard. 2, limited progress. 3, the student's progressing towards that. 4, they meet the grade level expectations. And 5, they exceed them. And then again for specials, you'll notice here that we'll continue to follow the E, M, and NY. You will have rubrics that the curriculum team prepared that will walk through each of the standards so that you'll know how to grade each student based on that rubric. And I'm really excited about this change because I feel like it'll really inform our instruction, but also give parents a better idea of truly where their student stands. Progress report dates and report card dates are listed there. They will be handwritten progress reports and report cards, and the dates again are listed there. Again, extension cords should not be used, and that's a fire code regulation. Rules for students riding the bus are listed there. If you'll please make sure that you kind of go over those with students so that they're aware of what their requirements are as far as riding the bus, and remind them that it is a privilege, and I'll try to cover those as well. Field trips, please make sure you get those to me by September 30th, and please, with us making this transformation to a global school, please look at incorporating global type field trips as you set your field trips. Please make sure that in the mornings that you're outside your classroom monitoring the hallways, and it's just nice to be able to welcome your students to the class. Again, dealing with cafeteria students wiping off tables and picking up around their space. If you're absent and you're assigned to duty, it's your responsibility to find someone to cover. Parent advisory meetings, all teachers should be attending those as well as other school functions and open house. Fluoride rinse Wednesday mornings. Make sure that you do that. That is a requirement. And please just make sure you check the other areas that are highlighted